Are you ready for the most ridiculous advice in fantasy football? If so, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Now, without any further ado, here they are. It's Terrbiculus and Rondiculus.
Hello, and welcome to the Terrbiculus and Rondiculus show. We're coming to you from Charlotte, North Carolina. How are you, folks? I'm Terrbiculus. This is Rondiculus.
Hi.
What's happening, Ron?
Not much. Just here, ready for week number 11. Can't believe it's week 11 already.
I can't either.
It's
We've got a
crazy.
lot to talk about.
Yes.
And I want to jump in to last week's results, Ron.
Okay.
Because we know who did better.
Yes.
Terrbiculus.
Terrbiculus definitely won the picks for sure. Apparently, I was the one that was high with my picks. Holy cow.
I'm going to get to that later because you know, we all know what happened last week when Ron said that my pick was when I was high.
Yes.
He turned out to be pretty good.
He was okay. He wasn't great. He didn't win somebody at 300,000, but he was definitely better than my picks.
For
so.
the price. Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
What happened last week? Who won? We didn't. We're here.
Well, yeah, we're still here. I don't know who won, but they had their winning lineup was 200 points, 200.16 points. They used 59,600 of their salary, so they have 400 on the table. They used our game of the week as a stack. Josh Allen, Kyler Murray. Josh Allen was the quarterback they used.
Too bad we can't play the game of the week.
Yeah, right.
We did really
We did
well.
good. We've been doing good on those this year. We've been picking them. And they did a team stack, but not a game stack. So they used Josh Allen, and they paired him up with Diggs and Beasley. And then they had a running back. They had Josh Jacobs and DeAndre Swift. They had Hunter Henry at their tight end, Alvin Kamara in their flex, and then the Las Vegas defense for their defense.
What was Las Vegas had an awesome game, I guess. What
They did. They got 16 points.
Wow.
I know. So
good pick there, right?
yeah, I got one right. So the cheap defense, but it paid off for them, and so they picked a lot of the top 5 players. Everybody was in the top 5 except Chase Claypool was their other receiver they used, and he was ranked 7th. So we were all on Connor. And they played Claypool. They didn't run. We thought they were going to run all day with Roethlisberger having some knee injuries and being on the COVID list early in the week, but that didn't work out.
Well, we had another problem with one of our running back.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Lord.
We thought Green Bay was going to run a lot too, but that didn't happen.
Yeah, it didn't happen. So, yeah. So, but yeah, they tore it up. They had a great week, and congratulations to them. You had some great picks. Terry did a good job. Yeah.
I have to say I came through on the quarterbacks.
You definitely came through on the quarterbacks. You recommended Kyler Murray, Josh Allen, Aaron Rodgers. They came in second. Kyler Murray was second as far as quarterbacks go. Josh Allen 4th and Aaron Rodgers 5th. So you definitely made some great picks there. Ronald Jones was a great pick at running back. He was 3rd. And your Pitt defense that you recommended was 4th. Mm-hmm. So we both recommended the Pitt defense. Only one I really did good was with Las Vegas. They were the first ranked defense. Antonio Gibson did okay. He was ranked 6th. And then Nick Chubb was ranked 7th. So Chubb had a big game. Him and Kareem Hunt both had over 100 yards.
And like we talked about, too, remember how I was afraid to play Nick Chubb, too, because he was just coming back from that injury.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Good
advice there, Ron.
Yeah,
But that was last week. That was last week.
So it was, we're on to week 11. So great games this week. Not a lot of, as far as looking at the Vegas totals for the games, not as high scoring. They're not projecting as high scoring games as we had last week. So we'll see how it plays out this week. So we have our games of the week we'll pick. And then, like I said, Terry and I don't discuss who we picked for players, game of the week and everything. So I'm learning. I'm hearing it first time, the same as you. So we'll see what happens, and hopefully this week. this week's tournament is they went back up a little bit.
I was just going to say that. Yeah. What is the top? What's
first place? First place is 500,000.
500,000.
So $500,000. Not bad. Mm-hmm. So we are either we're going to win it or one of our listeners is going to win. I feel like this is our week.
This is definitely the week.
Absolutely. We hope so.
I've got awesome picks again for you this week. So
all I can say is my picks hopefully can't get any worse. So hopefully my picks are better for you this week too. So we'll see how they play out.
Let's hope. I want to start with game of the week. I'm excited about it.
Okay.
I think I have another great game for game of the week.
Okay.
You want me to go first, or you want to go
Absolutely. You're
I'm-
excited about it, so let's do it.
I'm taking. Now, here's my pick of the week: New Orleans, Atlanta.
Okay. That's a great game. Great game.
I take it you did not pick that game.
I actually did.
Oh my god,
I picked that game as well.
that's hilarious.
50.5 point total. New Orleans is a 5-point favorite. So, last week, folks, we both picked the same game of the week, and the winner used that game. I was talking to Terry about it. The person who won the tournament last week had 3 of the top 5 lineups last week, and they used Josh Allen and Kyler Murray. So, game of the week. New Orleans, Atlanta. Those are the games you want to stack. So there you go.
Look for the. And
you know what? This is probably the shortest show we've ever had to do.
I know.
Thank you for watching. Have a great
See y'all later.
Absolutely. So that is the second highest projected game. Just to mention the Green Bay Indianapolis game is actually projected at 51.5, with Indianapolis actually a 2.5 point favorite showing right now. This is early in the week, so you keep an eye on that. But yeah, I like the Atlanta New Orleans game too. I think it's going to be back and forth, high scoring. So
even with Breeze out, you're going to see my picks here later on. But even with Breeze being out, I think it's going to be a really, really good game. High scoring game.
I think so too.
That's what I'm hoping for anyway.
Yeah,
because we got a lot of players that we want to score a lot of points.
Yes, that would be ideal.
In fantasy football, that's ideal.
If you want to win $500,000, that's probably be a good choice. So.
All right. Well, Captain Obvious, you go ahead with your quarterback picks because I can't wait to hear what you have.
Okay, I got 3 quarterbacks for you to consider. I was back and forth on quarterbacks. There's a lot of great options. So I try to go with somebody at my top stud who I think is going to be low owned, hasn't done much this year, but I think he's due for a breakout game. I went with Lamar Jackson. 8,400 versus Tennessee. Like I said, he hasn't done much this year, so he's probably going to be low owned. He's disappointed all year. Tennessee's given up the 20 touchdowns on the year. That's tied for the third most on the slate. In the playoff game that they played in last year, he had 365 yards passing, 1 touchdown throwing, and 143 yards rushing. So he can do it. Like I said, they're definitely not the same team they were last year, but he definitely has a breakout potential this week. So
that's a good pick, Ron, because he hasn't had really a good game. He has potential. His price has dropped a lot too.
It has.
He's down to 8,400.
Exactly.
So that might not be a bad option. I don't know if it's going to happen this week for you, but yeah, I appreciate you going out on
absolutely.
Lamar
So
Jackson
absolutely
as your number 1 stud pick.
He is. Who are you going for you?
Well, I'm going with a real stud who has done really well this year in fantasy football, Justin Herbert.
Yeah.
With the Chargers. They're playing New York, and they're playing in L.A., so my guess is he's going to have a good game.
I think it's a great pick.
So that's my number 1 pick for quarterback.
How much is he?
$8,500. He's just $100 more than Lamar Jackson. I think he's going to have a much better game than Lamar.
Yeah,
that's just mine.
Well, absolutely. So Herbert's had a great season. They're playing the Jets, so it's always a good team to target. So nice pick.
Exactly.
Nice pick.
Exactly. So, he's my number 1 stud.
Okay,
that's for sure.
Who's your next on your list that you have?
Well, I've got a couple. Of course, I'm going with the theme. New Orleans, Atlanta. So I'm going to go with Matt Ryan. He's at 7,800. He's a good value pick. I think he's going to have an awesome game.
Yeah.
Also, my value pick is going to be Jameis Winston. Can you believe that?
Okay.
I never thought that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with him at 7,200.
Yeah.
In New Orleans.
Yeah.
Depending on what happens, Sean Payton hasn't said who's going to be the starting quarterback, so you want to watch out for that. If he's not going to start, then obviously you don't want to play him.
Obviously.
If he's not going to play, don't play him because he's going to get a 0. You don't want a 0.
Thank you, Captain. We are full of great advice today.
This is great information.
Absolutely.
Today. So that's where I stand.
Okay. Well, I'm with you on Jameis Winston. I have him at 7,200 as well. Atlanta's given up 22 touchdowns and 49 explosive plays, which are both most on the slate. So he could have a huge game. And then for my value, I went way down, someone that no one's going to probably play. Alex Smith at 6,600 versus Cincinnati. He's had over 300 yards passing in the last 2 games playing Cincinnati. Cincinnati's given up 21 touchdowns and 40 explosive plays on the year. So
I'll give you that. No one's going to be playing.
Yeah, 6,600. Yeah. If you need salary savings, you're playing up other places. He may be something to look at. Like I said, he's definitely one of those dart throws again. But 6,600, that's cheap for quarterbacks. So That's who I have for my value quarterback.
You might want to look at Jameis Winston because it seems like when we agree on things, Ron, we seem to to do pretty.
Except for James Conner and Aaron Jones last week, but that's okay.
Oh yeah, that's right. Never mind. Forget that advice.
Forget what we said.
Don't play Jameis Winston.
Okay, yeah, exactly. So
we know the game of the week. We just don't know who.
Exactly. You got to figure out the players.
Look.
Absolutely.
So you went with number 1 Lamar Jackson. I'm going number 1 with Justin Herbert at quarterback. They're about the same price, but we do have Jameis Winston, but we agreed on. What do you think about Matt Ryan, though? I
like Matt Ryan a lot.
Matt Ryan's a good pick, I think.
Absolutely, I agree. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think Matt Ryan. He's a great play.
Yeah.
So
you might want to throw in Ben Roethlisberger too.
Yeah, I like Ben Roethlisberger. I was going back and forth with him too. They're playing Jacksonville.
Exactly. They're at Jacksonville, but I don't think that really matters.
Yeah. No, I think Ben Roethlisberger could have 4 or 5 touchdowns easily.
But if you're looking for a little bit more cost saving, go with the game of the week.
Yeah.
Winston or Ryan.
Yeah.
I think that'd be good.
So of course this will be the week that James Conner gets 153 touchdowns. But anyway, so great. Roethlisberger's definitely a great option as well.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right. So those are some good picks at quarterback, and then now we're on the running back. I'll start you off with my stud.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Well, you guys are gonna be shocked that I'm going with Dalvin Cook, 10,500 against Dallas. I mean, he's like a plug and play.
Don't play him because he's my number 1 pick.
Okay, so they were agreed. We got Dalvin Cook. I mean, Dallas has given up the second most rushing touchdowns on the slate and 157 yards a game. They've allowed 11 touchdowns on the ground. So Dalvin Cook, they're playing at home. They're favored. Dalvin Cook, monster game.
See, that's what I hate about this, though, because he's 10,500. He's very expensive. And, he looks good on paper. You think, oh, my God, this is the best pick ever. I'm going to win $1 million. And then something happened.
Well,
but
stuff happens.
It's the same.
You
thing.
play the best players.
You it's great. If you don't, then you could screw yourself.
I mean, he didn't do a whole lot on Monday night's game, but Chicago's defense is good. They threw, and I think he's going to have a huge game. You want to target guys who are going to have high ceiling games, meaning guys are just going to go off 30 plus fantasy points, and Dalvin Cook can do that every week.
And again, you have to have him in your lineups if you're going to win. I mean, if you don't have
if he's getting 30 plus points,
if he gets 30 plus
absolutely.
Points, you want him in. I agree with you, Ron. I'll take Dalvin Cook as my number 1 pick. 10,500. I'm willing to spend the money. Actually, I've already done it. I've done a lineup with him already.
Okay, absolutely. Okay, so we've agreed on Dalvin Cook as our stud.
Yeah,
absolutely. Okay, who else do you have for us, a running back?
Well, I'm going to go with my old favorite here in Carolina, Mike Davis again.
Okay.
I hope he does something. 7,400. He should do something against Detroit. They're terrible against the run game, so I think Mike Davis is going to have a great game.
He's awesome, Mike. I got Mike Davis as well. You're right, though. 7,400. They've given up the most touchdowns on there. They've given up 16 touchdowns on the ground, 141 yards. And then Teddy Bridgewater got hurt last week at the end of the game. So we don't know if he's even going to play this week. So they may be featuring Mike Davis in the running game. And he's a great person to target, obviously. So we're 2 for 2 on our running back so far. And then another running back that I have is in the same game, DeAndre Swift on the other side, 6,900 versus Carolina. They've allowed 14 touchdowns on the ground. Tied for the second most on the slate, and they're giving up 124 yards on the ground per game. So DeAndre Swift, and looks like he's kind of taking over the backfield in Detroit. Had a good game. He was in the $1 million line or the $300,000 lineup last week. So maybe someone to look at there for DeAndre Swift.
I did take a look at him actually. He's not my third choice. You know who my third choice is.
Your third choice is
Nick Chubb.
Nick Chubb, great pick. He was on my short list as well.
8,100. They're in Cleveland against Philadelphia. Again, he's my number one NFL player right now. So I'm going to go with Nick Chubb.
He's awesome.
Yeah.
He hurt us fantasy players last week by running out of the bounce at the 1 yard line. But that was the right play to do.
Absolutely the right thing to do for the game, but a horrible thing to do for fantasy.
But he still had a great game. He had over 18 fantasy points.
He did.
And Kareem Hunt had over 100 yards. They both had over 100 yards rushing. Right. I mean, that's that's the only thing that worries me. With Chubb is if he was just a feature back, I mean,
Oh,
he'd
yeah.
be like Dalvin Cook, plug and play every week, you know. But he's still great. Like I said, 18 points is a great week.
His
so.
price would be a lot higher than 8,100 though. So
That's true.
He is maybe
Yeah.
a good value play for you.
Yeah,
Mike
I
Davis
like-
is definitely a good value play
Yeah.
at 74.
I like Chubb a lot as well. Like I said, he was on my short list as well.
Yeah.
So
I would have played him last week, but like I said last week, I'm always afraid when they come back from injury. You
Yeah.
just never know how they're going to do. But
sometimes you got to be afraid. You got to do that,
Yeah.
you know. And like I said, that's when they pay off because everyone else is feeling the same way. They're like, oh, they're hurt. I'm gonna wait till see what they do, and that's how, you know, some people take a chance, and you know, sometimes it doesn't work, obviously. But when these great players like Nick Chubb come back, they, for the most part, they usually perform. So
Yeah.
you know, but
And he did.
He did. He had
Chubb.
a great. Yes,
We
and-
love him.
Yes, exactly. So there's some running backs. So we agreed on Dalvin Cook and Mike Davis, and then we have Nick Chubb and DeAndre Swift. So
Yeah.
some good choices for you folks there. And then we're going to wide receiver
I
now.
have a feeling we're going to agree on this one too.
I'm sure we are. I don't, you know, but we'll see what we got. So who do you have for your stud?
Well, actually, maybe not. Maybe not my number one stud. We
Okay.
might not agree on him because I went with Adam Thielen
Oh,
in the
okay.
Minnesota game against Dallas.
Yeah. Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
I'm going to be a little
I do.
contrarian. I don't think they're going to run the whole game. I think Adam Thielen,
Yeah.
you know,
I like it. Good
Yeah.
play. Adam Thielen's a good play.
7,900.
Yeah.
He's not that expensive for receivers. I mean, there's a lot more.
Yeah, I went with our New Orleans Atlanta game. I went with Michael Thomas. Mm-hmm. Didn't do great last week. He only had 7 targets. Well, he had 7 targets. He only had 2 catches, but 8,200 getting to Atlanta. Atlanta's so bad against the pass. If he doesn't go off this week, then it may just not be his year. I mean, he should go off. Everyone's pretty much gone off against Atlanta. So Michael Thomas, 8,200. Pair him up with Jameis Winston. I like that.
Yeah, absolutely a good pick.
Yeah.
You know.
And then another value play that I have in the same game that you did with Adam Thielen is Amari Cooper.
Oh,
6,900. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
you know he's off the radar. Dallas is off the radar. They've been off. They had a week off. They've been playing horrible. But I think Amari Cooper could have a good game. They're probably going to be trailing, going to have to throw, so he's going to be low owned. So, and that's what you want too. You want low owned players, and so someone to think about is Amari Cooper in 6,900 versus Minnesota.
yeah.
You're not happy about that one, huh?
I looked at the data. Yeah, no. Yeah.
So Minnesota's allowed 19 touchdowns through the air and 41 explosive plays. So they've given up a lot of big plays. So,
Okay.
so Terry clearly doesn't like that pick. So that means you need to play him.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely not. But okay.
I'm going.
Who do you have?
I'm going with my number 2 is Julio Jones.
Julio,
From
okay.
Atlanta, 8,100.
Okay.
I paired him up with Matt Ryan, Julio Jones. Very explosive combination.
Absolutely, it's a great pick, great combination, and that's the thing is these guys are expensive. You know, 81, 8,200. Ryan, you know, and Winston. Winston's a little cheaper. He's 7,200. I think Ryan's 7,800. So you're gonna have to find some value plays, and hope we'll get you some hidden gems later. We'll get you some players to think about. But
Right.
But yeah.
I had trouble. I mean, I already put together some lineups. You know,
Yeah.
if you want to put in Delvin Cook, I mean, you got to be creative, and
You do.
You got to get some really good value plays elsewhere.
absolutely.
You may not want to do some of Ron's picks like Amari Cooper or well.
Well, hopefully my picture, you make your own choice. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. We give you the 2 players, and you say, "Oh my God,
Yeah.
this is the most ridiculous advice in fantasy
But
football."
it really
So,
is. But I think I've got a really good. If you really want a value play, I'm going to go back to the Dallas Minnesota game. I'm going to go with Justin Jefferson at 6,700.
Okay.
Okay, he's a good value play. Again, I think they will be throwing, even though they're playing Dallas. I don't think they're going to be running the whole game.
Well, that's the thing about Dallas' defense. You can pretty much do whatever you want.
True.
So, like, let's throw today. Let's throw this week. Let's throw pass this week. So, or run this week. So, Justin Jefferson's a great play as well. I like it. You know,
And-
any of the play, you know, even Kirk Cousins. I mean, if you're going Justin Jefferson and Thielen, throw Kirk Cousins in there, because if he's throwing and they're both having a good game, Kirk Cousins will have a good game too. So, absolutely, I like that. I like that theory.
And I
So,
mean, you never know too. Remember what happened in the Pittsburgh game, Dallas-Pittsburgh game. I mean, you
Yeah.
just never know. It could be
absolutely
could be that kind of game, and they will be throwing. So Adam Thielen and Justin Jefferson. If you want a little bit more value, if you want to go with a receiver, with the Minnesota game, I'd go with Justin Jefferson at that price.
Yeah, no, that's a good one. 6,700. That's a nice play. I have one. It's a little cheaper if you really need some value. It's in the Green Bay Indianapolis game. It's actually Michael Pittman Jr. for Indianapolis, 5,500 versus Green Bay. He loves my picks.
I
He's like, what is he coming? He's gotten 15. He was injured. He just came back a few weeks ago.
Now that we have video, you can see my expression.
Exactly. I know. Absolutely. I think our viewers like that. So how crazy I am. I'm the one that's high, apparently. So, but in the last 2 weeks, he's gotten 15 targets. I think it's going to be, like I said, that's the highest scoring, or it's projected to be the highest scoring game on the slate as far as Vegas is concerned. And so it could be back and forth. It's 51.5 point total. Last game he had 7 receptions for 101 yards. So I think for 5,500, he could definitely pay off for you. Like I said, because you need some cost savings.
Like if you're going to put, right. I mean, that's a good option if you want to look for a value play.
Exactly.
But I had another one that stood out to me. Terry McLaurin again. The Cincinnati Washington game.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be at 70. I think he's at 7,300.
7,300. So you can pair him up with Alex Smith, my quarterback.
There you go.
So absolutely. So
yeah, that would be a good value right there.
Yeah. So
how much was Alex Smith again?
He's 6,600.
That's really good. Yeah, you can do that.
Absolutely. So McLaurin's always a good play because he's the main wide receiver. I mean, there's not a whole lot of other options out there, and he's the number one option. Kind of like Devontae Adams in Green Bay. Alan Lazard is coming back this week. I think he's 5,500 for Green Bay, so someone to think about as well. But so there's some more receivers for you guys to think about this week. Now we got tight end. Tight end's been tough all year.
Tight end has really been tough. And you know what? My number one pick this week is kind of my value pick as well.
We're probably on the same page.
I think we probably are. New Orleans?
Yep.
Taysom Hill.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
4,500?
Yes, absolutely. I think even if Jameis Winston is in there playing, I think Hill's going to come in there, not only as the tight end position, but the quarterback position as well.
Exactly. He's going to play snaps at quarterback, running back, wide receiver. He is going to get a few more opportunities with Jameis Winston playing. So, and there's even talk that Taysom Hill may be the starting quarterback. I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's going to be Jameis Winston.
I don't think so either. But
4,500, he's going to be high owned, but he's one of those players at 4,500, you just plug and play because at 4,500, he doesn't need to do much to get you to value. When value, if you want to find value, is they want to hit at least 2 times what their salary is. So he's 4,500. You want him to get at least 9 points for you.
And I think that's definitely
a possibility. That's easily
because they're going to put him in there when they're down on the goal line, and they're going to have him run that in. So
absolutely. So
he could easily score a couple touchdowns running.
Absolutely. So he's a great 4,500.
At 4,500, I think he is the best value, the best hidden gem. I don't
know if he's a hidden gem because he's gonna be high owned.
That's true because at 4,500 he is like a no brainer. I thought.
I think so too. He's a plug and play. He really is. I
thought how could you go wrong with Taysom Hill?
So if you want to go contrarian, do something without Taysom Hill. But yeah, he's like I said, at his price, it's almost. He's going to be high owned because everyone's, and everyone in the industry is going there.
But that's fine if he's high owned and he does score and he does
exactly. You're in the same boat as everybody else. You have to have him. Exactly.
It's your other players that'll make the difference.
Exactly. Absolutely. So you can be differentiated and, like I said, leave some salary on the table and with your lineup. Or like I said, find lower owned guys. Try to do that. So so I have him. I also have in the same game Jared Cook. 6,100 versus Atlanta because Atlanta's given up the most touchdowns to tight ends. They've given up 8 touchdowns on the year. So, you'd have to put them in your flex position if you're going to play both of them.
I was just going to say that's exactly what I did because I had Jared Cook actually as my number one pick for tight end.
Yeah.
Taysom Hill more of a flex position. Either way, you can do them. Just as long you can play them both in the same lineup.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I thought of him too. Jared Cook, I think, Atlanta's terrible against the tight
ends.
So.
They've given up 8 touchdowns. I like Jared Cook. And then also on the other side, Hayden Hurst is another option to look at as well. Calvin Ridley's questionable, and we don't know if he's going to play. Hurst has been getting consistent targets. So, like I said, if you want to go on the other side of that, because I think a lot of people will be on Cook and Taysom Hill. So, something to think about. My value pick at tight end, I have Logan Thomas, tight end for Washington. For my Alex Smith pairing, you can do McLaurin and Logan Thomas. He's 5,200 playing Cincinnati. They've given up the second most yards to tight ends, and they've given up the third most touchdowns on the slate. They've given up 6 touchdowns through the air. They've given up 583 yards, I believe, through the air. So, someone to think about. Like if Alex Smith is throwing, Maybe be throwing it to Logan Thomas and Terrbiculus, hopefully.
True.
So, yeah.
I went a little bit different. I went back to my Chargers game with Justin Herbert. I'm going to go with Hunter Henry.
Yeah.
He's at 5,000. He's a good value play.
Yeah.
5,000. Taysom Hill's a great value play at 4,500.
Absolutely.
So, those are my three. But my first choice was Jared Cook in the tight end position.
Yeah.
But I definitely want to play Taysom Hill.
Yeah.
I might find him a lot in my flex position.
Yeah, Taysom Hill's definitely, like I said, I mean, 4,500. Sometimes happens with those slates,
it seems almost too good to be true.
It is. And sometimes if it's almost too good to be true, it is. Just like last week with Aaron Jones and James Conner. They were can't misses, and then, like I said, every week you just don't know. You're trying to put the pieces of the puzzle together, as we say.
But again, I think
I think he's a safe plug and play.
So you think Jameis Winston's going to start as quarterback? I do
too.
I mean, but
yeah,
Taysom Hill is going to come in on those fourth down.
Yeah, absolutely. So.
I think you should tear it up. That's what I'm hoping anyway.
Yeah. So we'll get the tight ends right one week. It's been rough all year. So, but yeah. So those are. I think we agree on those picks. Yeah. There's some good ones for us.
We had a lot of similar picks this week.
We've had so far. Yeah. Now we're on to defense. So we'll see what we got for defenses.
All right.
I think our defenses probably line up a couple of them. Maybe, I don't know.
I'm kind of torn between my two defenses that I have.
Okay.
I have Miami at 4,800.
I like it.
And I have Cleveland at 4,600.
4,600 was Cleveland was my number one pick at 4,600. Philadelphia's allowed 35 sacks, thrown 12 interceptions. Cleveland has 22 sacks and 7 interceptions on the year. So I like Cleveland a lot. They're playing at home.
I do too.
And then we're talking about positive correlation. Like the winning lineup last week, they had Josh Jacobs with the Las Vegas defense. Positive correlation, because if you're ahead, you're going to run. Mm-hmm. So you can do Nick Chubb with the Cleveland defense. So I like that
a lot.
Yeah.
I'm going to change mine. Number one, Cleveland.
There you go. Yeah, Cleveland. I like that. And I like Miami, too. Miami's defense has been playing really well.
That's why I was torn between.
And they're playing Denver. And then, so I like that as well. I have a couple value picks. I have Washington's defense. Got a lot of Washington this week.
You do.
But Washington's at 4,100 versus Cincinnati. Cincinnati's given up 30 sacks, 5 interceptions. Washington has 28 sacks and 8 interceptions. So it's a little cost savings for you, 4,100. Who else do you have? You had 2 defenses you said for us?
Yeah, I just had the 2 because I was torn between those. Okay. But I'm going to go with my number one choice is Cleveland.
Yeah. I like Cleveland too. And then if you really want to save some money, this is a pick. This is what you're going to love. Atlanta at 3,200. Now, we talk about this being a high-scoring game.
Yeah.
Jameis Winston threw 30 touchdowns last year, so he can throw a lot of touchdowns, but he also threw 30 interceptions. So
good point.
Atlanta at 3,200. And the thing is, Atlanta can still give up a lot of points and still score a lot of fantasy points, because if they get a pick six, you're in good shape. So Winston could easily throw 3 interceptions and 1 or 2 pick sixes. So 3,200, they're almost bare minimum. So if you need to save, because if you're paying for Dalvin Cook and all these other studs, 3,200 Atlanta defense.
If you're playing their defense, I would stay away from our quarterback pick of Jameis Winston, because that's not going to be good for you.
Most of the times, no, it's a negative correlation.
Yeah.
But this week, actually, you know what? It could actually possibly work, as crazy as it sounds.
Yeah.
But, like I said, something to think about. 3,200.
I still like our picks better with Nick Chubb and the Cleveland defense. That's
I like that too. That's my top pick for sure.
Yeah. But you're absolutely right. Jameis Winston can really throw a lot.
He can go either way. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So those are our defenses, and then we have some hidden gems. How many hidden gems do you have for us this week?
You know what? I really didn't have any hidden gems because I was doing a lot of value play this week. So my Taysom Hill pick, I just love that pick, so don't do it.
All right. No, Taysom Hill's a great play. He is. He's one of those, like you said, you put it in, then you build your lineup.
Yeah, I looked for some hidden gems for you this week. I mean, I just had a lot of value picks this week, so I really couldn't find anything.
Well, I've got a couple for you.
Ron will dig deep for you.
I've got 2 to consider. Running back, Damian Harris for New England. He's 5,800 playing Houston.
Wow, yeah.
Houston's allowed the most rushing yards. They're allowing 167 rushing yards a game. They've allowed 12 touchdowns on the ground. We just saw what Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt both did against Houston. Each had over 100 yards. So 5,800, that's a good cost savings for you there. And then another one, really cheap wide receiver. If Calvin Ridley doesn't play, think about, I don't know if I'm saying his name right, Ola Midway?
Yep.
Zacchaeus?
I don't know.
Zacchaeus. He's a wide receiver for Atlanta. He's only 4,700. He, like I said, to play in New Orleans, when really out, he had 4 for 103 and a touchdown in his game against Denver. Ridley was out of that game. So Ryan will look to him. And he had a decent game earlier in the season against Green Bay as well. So if Ridley's out, someone to think about. 4,700, another cost savings for you right there.
Which you probably will be. So
absolutely.
You might want to look at other players, but
yeah, absolutely. Hey, so so those are my hidden gems I have for you.
Good.
Yeah,
those are good hidden gems, Ron.
Yeah, so,
they don't always work out, but they're good hidden gems.
Well, exactly. Well, that's what they're called, hidden gems. So
what do? You just reach into a bowl and say, "Hey, look, I got them."
This one looks good. Yeah, that's what I do exactly. So
I think those are great. I think those are great picks. I have done some of my lineups already, and I've plugged in these players already.
Okay.
So
right.
it does get a little tough when you're playing Dalvin Cook and
You got to find cost savings.
You really do.
Yeah, absolutely. So
that's when those
when
those hidden gems come.
Well, there's some players to look at for sure. So and then so I think we had a good show. We got some good picks for you this week.
I think so too.
Absolutely.
There was one thing I wanted to point out. I was going to say it earlier.
Yeah.
Did you happen to take a look at Rondiculus' shirt here?
Yeah, here we go. Yeah.
This is awesome. One of our listeners has
Faith and Grace. She sent this as an early Christmas.
Man, you are awesome. And then on the back, it is the Terrbiculus and Rondiculus show.
Yes.
These are awesome.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate that, Faith and Grace. We appreciate you listening
all
and
the way
all your
from
support.
Dallas, Texas.
Exactly.
Awesome.
So, yeah, we do appreciate it. It's very kind.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, it was very kind of you, and we love them. I love them. So, we are on week 11, and I think we got some good picks.
Yep. If you want to hear our picks, you want to watch the show, go to our website at trpcast.com. Get all the information about Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, whatever.
Absolutely. We got YouTube. We got video out. Yeah, we got the YouTube so you can watch, so you can see Cherry's reactions to my picks, my unbelievably, ridiculously awesome picks.
They're awesome.
They are. So
good luck this week. We hope you win $1 million. Well, we hope
$500,000.
$500,000.
Yes. Best of luck to everybody. Thanks for listening, and have a great weekend.
We'll see you next week.